Hey, somebody's got to find my car keys again. You did? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer.
Places, please. Quiet down. And here we go. And roll camera.
Here, you and I will use common sense and all the wisdom we can muster to move beyond what is true and go all the way to the truth.
And that's the way it is.
With actual listeners in more than 100 countries around the world, I am the Professional Noticer.
I wonder if it'd be louder with bigger wires.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. As the Professional Noticer, it's my job to notice something for you. And nothing's off limits. We tackle everything. Business, spiritual issues, popular culture, even the odd conundrum like why is sending something in a car called shipping, but if it's on a ship, it's called cargo. Look, my purpose here today, and with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life you would live if all your toughest questions were answered. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by GulfCoastNation.com. I am fascinated by these guys. Dylan Weir and Adam Andrews, and yeah, you might recognize Adam's name because that's my youngest son. They're on Facebook, Gulf Coast Nation, and on Instagram, they're gulf.coast.nation.com. So you really want to follow these guys, and you might want to fish with them. It is the most unbelievable thing. They're doing something very different. They're chartering from the beach. And people down on vacation or people are actually driving down to fish with them because they're fishing for sharks from the beach. And, they're tagging and releasing these sharks, tagging them for NOAA, who tracks sharks around the world. And to be able to do this, of course, their come on is you fish with us, you don't get seasick. And mom can sit in a nice chair on the beach. We can have sand crab contests for the kids while we're waiting on the big hookup for the shark. We can order pizza if you want it. We can cook you steaks or grill burgers. It's just fascinating. So go on YouTube, subscribe to their channel, look at them, and go on their website, GulfCoastNation.com. Check them out. Go fishing with them. Biggest one they caught last year, 12-foot, 3-inch tiger shark. The NOAA chart said it weighed 1,050 pounds. Can you imagine? Okay, observations and answers are what we do here. I deliver the observations, but you provide the questions. I would love to field one from you, so write me. The email is theprofessionalnoticer@andyandrews.com. And listen, if we use your question, we'll send you your choice of the guided traveler experience and 8 hours of live video, or you can choose the 100-year parenting, a collection of 53 videos. This week, our first question, this is a good one. Our first question is from Cassie. Hey, Cassie.
Hey, Andy. So I've been following you since 2004 when I saw and met you at a Sonic National Convention with My Life So Far. Love the meaning and the story of Mr. Cortez and burning the boats, taking that to burn the boats in your life. I have always lived by those two principles ever since I have heard you 16 years ago. The 7 decisions completely took me in. The choice to choose have given me such insight to decisions, both personal as well as professional. I am struggling with a heavy heart, however. I am currently in a non-healthy marriage. I will not bash my husband, as that is not the right thing to do in my principles and values. All I will say is that manipulation, narcissism, and habitual lying is the environment that is considered normal in the household. The dilemma I am faced with a heavy heart is, we have a 6-year-old son who is seeing this every day, and I do not want him to grow up watching this behavioral trait considered normal. any advice I can get is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Cassie, I appreciate the question. And since you took the time to ask, I am going to treat this very seriously, and I'm going to tell you what hits me right off the bat. And I'm gonna say that I'm very glad that you said hello. I appreciate so much you following the books, and I am with you. I don't want you to have a 6-year-old son that grows up seeing craziness every day. And you say any advice you can get is appreciated. So let me tell you my advice. I really believe, I know you and your husband need counseling. Okay. And this is both of you. We all, there's an old saying that there's 3 sides to every story. Your side, my side, and reality. And we all have a hard time seeing, what part we may play in certain things. And sometimes the part we play is kind of reactive. Okay. And maybe, hey, I didn't start this fight, but dang it, I'm offended now. And, I'm gonna give this more energy than it really deserves. It's your fault. You started it, but I'm gonna make sure you pay for it. And so there are, I sense in your question that maybe that is happening, and I'll tell you exactly where. And I don't want to make you feel bad or anything, but I do want you to be aware of something. There are 2 sentences, 2 things you said. I jotted them down. Is that I will not bash my husband, as that is not the right thing to do with my values and principles. And then the next sentence is, all I'm going to say is that manipulation, narcissism, and habitual lying is the environment that's considered normal in the household. So, you're not going to bash your husband because it's not the right thing to do. And then the next sentence, you bash him. And I am not saying that maybe you don't have every right to do that. I'm just saying there's a lot of confusion going on right now. I understand you do have a heavy heart. You are concerned about your 6-year-old son, and this is the person you should be concerned about. But you should also be concerned about yourself, and you should also be concerned about your husband. The best thing you can do for your 6-year-old son is to make sure that this marriage is a healthy one. And right now, it's not. But I know that it can be. Let me say something this is just something I have seen in my life. Of the 3 things that you mentioned there, manipulation, narcissism, and habitual lying, one of those you can kind of prove, okay? You can prove when somebody lies, okay? But I have seen people that have accused other people of narcissism where a lot of other people didn't see the narcissism, that, it was kind of an opinion, all right? And then as far as manipulation, Now listen, I'm not saying I don't know your husband, right? I don't know you. I don't know your husband. I'm not saying he isn't manipulative, narcissistic. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that those things can be those can be opinions, and as we know, opinions sometimes are wrong. I have seen several situations where somebody was accused of being manipulative. When I was watching the situation, and the person who was accused of being manipulative, in my opinion, they were being very patient, because the person that they were talking to, they continued to talk and try to explain the right thing to do, because the person was definitely headed down the wrong path. But because this person was patient and continued to talk, the person headed down the wrong path said, "See, you're just trying to manipulate me. You're just being manipulative." And I looked at that other person, I'm thinking, well, he could not be manipulative at all. He could just not talk at all and just let you walk right off the cliff. And so I just want to put the possibility in there that there, is some confusion. There's obviously confusion, right? Because when you aren't getting along, there's confusion. And the habitual lying, that's something that can certainly be addressed. I'm just trying to give you some hope on the others. But both of you need to be in some form of counseling. And, I'm trying right now to work with some people. I don't have, I get asked about this a lot. I mean, I get asked about personal counseling a lot, or personal coaching a lot. And I'm trying to come up with some answers in that area for people, and may have something sometime soon to announce in a way that I can help, or recommend somebody, or send you to somebody. But Cassie, you and your husband you need now. It needs to be somebody both of you either both of you don't know, or that both of you agree on. Both of you agree that you trust, that you listen to. But if only for your 6-year-old, you need to do this. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer. And man, I'm harnessing the common sense that I can muster and the wisdom that I've gathered, and I'm attempting to plow through some of these challenges all the way to an answer for you. So, wisdom is a strange one, right? Where do you seek wisdom? I'm not talking about knowledge. I'm talking about wisdom. Knowledge will help you get things cleaned up once you've reached the point that some people think you're past the point. Wisdom is different. Pure knowledge without the wisdom to apply the knowledge in a proper way is useless. Wisdomharbor.com is where a lot of people are going now. That's a lot of CEOs, a lot of coaches, a lot of team members, a lot of teachers, a lot of families. Go to wisdomharbor.com. That's HARBOUR, Harbor with an OUR. And this is an amazing thing. It's a subscription site. It's $17 a month, and it provides angles that you would not believe. I mean, just so many different things that discussion points for your family, learning points for yourself, business advice. There is funny things for your family. There are books on audio. It's just unbelievable the different areas that are put in. Wisdom Harbor has docs, and Wisdom Harbor has a bunch of docs. And so go check it out. You can go there and get a free 5-minute guided tour. WisdomHarbor.com. Our next question is from Anthony. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Andy, I'm curious about your thoughts on a political issue. With the primaries and elections coming this year, where do you find reliable sources for the candidates to know what they really stand for? Or is there a reliable source? Why does it feel like so many of them say one thing on the campaign trail and vote another way when they get to Washington? Thanks for your thoughts.
Anthony. Yeah, that's a good question. Where do you find reliable sources for the candidates to know what they really stand for? Reliable sources? Oh, yeah, I had to put that reliable word in there. And because you say, where is the reliable source? I don't know. I'm not sure there is a reliable source. It's like, I'm not sure there is a reliable source. Everybody has an agenda. And of course, you know that because you have one, right? I have one. We all have an agenda. We all want to influence people to our way of thinking. You ask here, you say, why does it feel like so many of them say one thing on the campaign trail and vote another way when they get to Washington? Why does it feel like that? Because they do it. That's exactly why, Anthony, because they do it. Now, I think a good question is, why do they do it? I think if we know why they do it, it helps us figure out how to vote. Because I don't know. With the primaries and elections coming, the only reliable source you can find, I'm thinking about this right now, the only reliable source you and I can find is historical context. What has happened in the past can make things so glaringly obvious that we go, why did I not see this before? But if you don't know where to look, if you don't know how to look at it, then you don't receive its value. Let me tell you how to look at the past in regards to what people are going to do when they get to Washington. Because you're right. We have seen so many of these people that, they said they're doing one thing and they did. I'll give you a personal example. I had a friend that I used to quail hunt with. We would, once a year I'd see him and we would quail hunt together in South Georgia, and there's a bunch of us that would go. And one year he told us, and this guy was kind of a celebrity. We're not kind of one, he was one. And one year he told us, he said, hey, I'm going to run for Congress. And we're like, seriously? Awesome. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. We were thrilled. And then maybe 10 or 20 minutes later, somehow he lets it slip. Well, I'm running and he was going to run for, as part of the party that we were kind of shocked. We were like, really? I mean, because it wasn't the party we thought that he had always been a part of. I mean, we thought he had always been, a certain way and that he believed a certain thing and that he, and we were like shocked. Like, seriously. He said, look, here's the thing. I am the guy that I am. I'm the same guy you have always known. And the only way I can get elected in this congressional district is to run, as a part of that party. But it will give me a great opportunity to go to Washington, and I'm still going to vote my convictions. I'm going to vote just the way that I would vote, and I still believe the same things I believe, and I'm going to go up there, and that's how I'm going to vote. And so we were like, yeah, well, okay, all right, yeah, no, I guess that's good, and because I was always like, hey, I'm voting for the man, I'm voting for the woman, I'm voting for the person, I'm not voting for the party, I'm voting for the person, and so that always made a lot of sense to me, and especially in this case because I knew him. I knew what he believed. I knew what he felt. I'd had 100 conversations with him. Then I talked to a buddy of mine who is a lot more politically astute than I am. He's a lot wiser in a lot of areas than I am. And I told him what was happening. I said, yeah, it's our buddy here, and he's running for Congress, and he's he's switched parties, but he's going to be fine. He's going to be able to be an influence there, and attract some attention there, and he's going to vote. Right? And my friend, who is much wiser and more politically astute, he said, no, he's not. And I said, no, he is. He will. He said, no, he won't. I said, how? You don't even know him. He said, yeah, I understand that. He said, but I understand how this works. And I said, well, okay. We didn't have a lot of time to talk about it or to ask him. I didn't have time to ask him any details in. But I thought he was wrong because he didn't even know my friend. I knew my friend. And you know what? My friend was a 3-term congressman, and my friend voted the opposite of what I knew he believed on every single thing for 6 years. I was blown away. And so, Anthony, you ask, why do they say one thing on the campaign trail and vote another way when they get to Washington? A lot of times we think, they're just liars. You're just liars. You just lied. You just sat there. You sat right in front of us and you lied to us. My friend, I could have thought, my friend just lied to us. He just lied. He's lied all his life about what he believed. And he went up there and he voted, on all these bills, all these things, voted exactly the opposite of but here I went back to my wise friend and asked for the explanation. And here's how I understand this now. Let me explain what happens. And this is the ultimate answer, I think, Anthony, when you say, where do you find a reliable source for the candidates to know what they really stand for? Honestly, it doesn't matter what they stand for. Now, I'm not talking about the President of the United States. That matters what they stand for. Okay, but when we're talking about congressmen and senators, and it doesn't matter what they stand for on the big picture. Now, there's some small things and all like that, but here's the deal. It matters what their team stands for. They're joining a team. And if you want to know, and it don't matter what they stand for, if you want to know how they're going to vote, you look at what their team stands for. And the best way I can explain this is Anthony, let's just say you and I are best friends, and we've been best friends our entire lives. And we're going to go down to the Y and work out. We're going to get into in a pickup basketball game. And so we go out, and they're just about to choose up teams. And so you get chosen on one team, and I get chosen on the other team. All right, and play starts. And we're, everybody's, guarding who they're guarding. And, at some point, as the game gets started, you get the ball, and I say, Anthony, throw it to me. Here, Anthony, throw it to me. Throw it to me. Well, you're not going to throw it to me because we're on different teams. And even though I'm your best friend, the peer pressure from your team will compel you not to throw that ball to me. I'm wanting to put it in the other basket. And the peer pressure from your team will compel you to throw it in the opposite basket and to keep it away from me. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You could throw it to me, but if you threw that ball to me one time, you would never see the ball again. They would either kick you out completely, or they would never let you see the ball again. And when a woman or a man gets elected to Congress and they go up there and they say, don't worry, I'll be throwing the ball to you. They won't, because their team will put so much very real pressure. It's not just fake, we will shun you kind of stuff. It's like you won't be on a single committee. You won't be allowed in a meeting. You won't be allowed in a caucus. You won't be called on. You won't be invited to dinner. Your wife or your husband will not be part of. I mean, I'm telling you, that's just the way it goes. And that's how it happens. And that is why people can be honest on the campaign trail and be a good person and vote a different way when they get to Washington. So if you want to find a reliable source for the candidates to know what they're going to stand for, I'm not sure there's a reliable source, but if you want to know how they're going to vote, you just look at their teams. Okay? I'm the professional noticer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you appreciate this podcast, I really appreciate you going to iTunes and giving us a nice review. That's how they choose where they show us or if they show us. And we would really like other people to be aware of this podcast. And so you can also please send it to people. Tell people about it. You can only review it one time on iTunes, and if you haven't already, please do so. But I think that'll do it for this week. Yeah? Okay. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of the Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, smile while you talk, shake hands with the kids you meet, and make sure you have a positive answer to the question, how's it going? And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. First place trophies for everyone provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by Hokey Pokey Nails and Tan. At Hokey Pokey Nails and Tan, we have one mission, and that's to provide exceptional manicures, pedicures, and tans to each and every person who walks through our doors. With the manicures and pedicures, there's a unique process our Hokey Pokey technicians have perfected. First, we start with a foot bath. You put your right foot in, then take your right foot out, and after one more time, our drying process consists of shaking it all about. When you have received your Hokey Pokey polish in the color of your choice, simply turn yourself around and we'll get to work on the left foot. Done with your feet? So are we. Now it's time to put your right hand in and take your right hand out. Do it once more, then you shake it all about. Again, it's your choice, matching or complementing colors of Hokey Pokey polish. Ready for your Hokey Pokey tan? Step into the back where our state-of-the-art stand-up tanner awaits. Put your whole self in, and after 8 minutes, take your whole self out. Turn yourself about and head to the front where our staff will be happy to schedule your next appointment. Hokey Pokey Nails and Tan. That's what it's all about.